How's it going, folks? It's Rob here.
And Bianca.
And today we're off again looking at 2 more properties. Now today we're looking at a couple of properties up around the Bundaberg region. The first one, Bianca, did you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, the first one's at South Kolan. It was 114 acres with town power, which was always a plus.
Yep.
There was a creek that bordered on the property and it had riparian pumping rights, which was good.
Always handy.
Had a series of dams at the front. The majority of the land was white zone, so you could clear most of that, which was all right, with a small area of protected bush.
Yeah, it was almost like an island in the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the real estate agent was saying that some local young fellas were actually in that area hunting pigs.
He did say they cut through the barbed wire fence to gain access to the property.
Which isn't a good sign
to go
for the
hunting.
local area, but anyway, yes.
Yes, the fencing needed repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... I think the posts were solid.
Yeah,
but
the posts.
There was sections where the wire was really slack. A lot of work needed to be done. The house yard was fully fenced.
It was actually a rather large yard too, wasn't it?
It was really big. There was a chook yard with the run.
Yep.
Yep.
And just outside the chook yard when we were walking up to it, there was a pile of feathers on the ground.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a telltale sign for a fox or a cat. It wasn't a chicken because there hadn't been chickens there for a while, so it was just a local bird that had met its demise.
Well, the property had been left vacant for a while, so it could have been dogs as well.
Yeah, it could have been, yep. Yeah. And the chook yard actually looked like it needed a bit of repair. There was access points for foxes and goannas and whatnot, so...
No, that would have needed redoing as well.
The other infrastructure was pretty bare as well, really, wasn't it? There was no cattle yards.
No, there was basically a house with a chook yard, a small carport, creepy carport with a dirt floor, and then a big machinery shed next door. But I don't think that was lockable either, was it?
No, it was an open shed, but up in the back right-hand corner, there was a concrete section and a lockable work area, so for tools and that sort of thing.
So, but it did have 2
rather large water tanks.
They were really big at the back of the house, but it did have some citrus trees and little, very old school gardens, I'd say. It was something that
the old tyres around the plants and that sort of thing.
The house itself was sort of split into, they had built another kitchen downstairs and there was bedroom. They were dog breeders, so as you went out the side of the house, it had sectioned off fencing areas for kennels for the dogs, and then the dogs had access to like a hallway under the house. Yeah,
they were doing German short-haired pointers, if I remember correctly, hunting dogs. Yeah.
You could have had a self-contained downstairs.
The bathroom downstairs, showers, toilet, yep.
And upstairs, it was nice. It was old.
The tongue and groove walling.
And the floorboards still had a lot of gaps in them.
Yep. A lot of shrinkage over the years of the timber, I would say. Yeah. Great character to it. Yes. But the kitchen was slightly unique. I don't think I'd have to do the dishes.
Ever.
Not
without a concussion.
Yeah, the ceiling was rather short. Yeah. So
and then had a light, which made it even shorter.
Yeah. But it did have a gas cooktop, which is something I really like for heat when I'm stir frying and cooking. Yes. The bathroom upstairs was rather large. It had a really nice clawfoot bath in it.
Yeah.
The laundry was sort of down the back stairs and out the back with another toilet out there, which would have been the original toilet, I dare say. And they had 3 bedrooms, which we don't think we mentioned.
No, and one of the bedrooms had a balcony.
Yes.
Outside it.
Yep. And there was a little balcony off the lounge room that also had a wood fireplace as well. And downstairs there was a rather large storage/pantry room.
Yes.
It looked like it would have been rather cool down in that area. But yeah, all in all, the property was a really nice one, wasn't it?
It was.
Just quickly before we move on to the next property, a quick heads up about the Living Off-Grid Dream course that I've been privy to view, and Bianca's been watching over my shoulder. It's given us loads of ideas about ways we can monetize the farm and create an income out of the normal crop planting and animal husbandry and that sort of thing. So finance for the place, different ingenious ways to finance your farm. Also creating an income stream on the property, how to design different layouts. There's a great section in there on permaculture that I've just been through. Really enjoyed that. And they've actually just put up a new little shorter course. It's a lot cheaper if you just want to see what they're about, and gives you loads of great information. Links to both those courses are down in the description. They are affiliate links, so anyone who purchases them will actually be helping to fund our own little off-grid dream, even though we'll be probably starting off on grid and then moving off grid once we get there, because that's just the way farms are set up in Australia. But anyway, yeah, back to the next property. So now we'll move on to Bucca, which funnily enough, we actually had to pass by that South Kolan property to get to.
Yep.
It was a lot smaller in size. It was 36.6 acres, and it also had on-grid power with no solar set up on site.
Yep.
The front of the property was once planted to sugarcane, well, a part of it, and there was a little part down towards the large dam next door that wasn't. It actually looked like the two properties were once the same and had been subdivided at some point in time.
Yep.
The house was a 2-bedroom house, and like all the houses, if there's people living in them, we don't show the inside. That's why I saw the inside of the last one, but not this one.
Yep.
People were living in there. It was an older home, brick veneer. It had a water tank out the front that was actually sunk into the ground, so it was a lot larger than the volume you could see from the top. The house yard was fenced, and it had macadamia nuts, which was a big bonus, especially for someone who sells macadamia nutcrackers, link in the description. It had a couple of citrus trees, and was there a pomegranate? Was that one a pomegranate? We've seen so many properties,
Yes,
I can't remember.
yes,
I
there
think
was
a pomegranate.
in the front yard.
And a pecan.
Yes.
And a pecan with no leaves on it. The house block by itself were, very doable. There was a little carport out the back that we could have used either as a carport, or it could have been maybe a little fish room for the fish and an aquaponic system leading out the back. Out the back part of the property, which was pretty much all the majority of the property, it was all scrub, regrowth scrub, but it was white zone, so we could have managed it, thinned it out, could have expanded the grazing from the front paddock to the back paddock as well. Now, we walked to the back of the property, past one dam. It was a fairly sizable dam.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, and it was relatively full as well.
Yeah, it looked half decent. And further on from that dam, we got to the most spectacular part of the property, which was the view over Gingin Creek. It looked more like a river, but that's because there's a weir further downstream. And across the creek, there was just a mass planting of macadamia nuts. It's almost like they're just pulling sugarcane out and just planting macadamia plantations en masse from pretty much all Maryborough north, wasn't it? So yeah, there's loads of macadamia farms going in. As for other infrastructure, there was a 5-bay machinery shed that was open with a larger undercover area for, say, harvesters and that sort of thing. There was a cattle yard with a spectacular looking gum tree in front of it. The other infrastructure was a pump down on the large dam. The large neighbouring dam actually had a tail section that encroached onto this property, and there was a pump down there so you could actually draw water from that. So it would have been a shared rights thing, but obviously when the dam dried up in the drought, you wouldn't be able to pump much water from mud. Actually, that's another thing that the estate agent pointed out as well. Sun water, so the council or the local water conglomerate have water lines passing past the different farms in the area, and all you have to do is put a power line down to the pump line, put a meter on there, and we could have pumped from that infrastructure as well. I'm not sure on the cost. I think there's a cost for the installation, and there may be an allotment free every season. I'm not too sure, and then you pay for kilolitres after that or megalitres after that. Something I haven't looked into as of yet.
No.
So yeah, that's that property. What about our thoughts on the properties, Bianca? We'll go to South Kolan first. The drawback for me was we met one of the neighbours, nice bloke, shook his hand, had a bit of a yarn before we looked at the property. But the fact that someone cut the fence to go pigging on the property, that to me was a bit of a warning sign.
Yeah.
But like we said, it was on a corner block, so it was open on all sides.
And all the fencing would have needed work.
Yeah, all the fencing would have needed.
And it was a big area requiring work.
Yep, and their asking price.
Yeah, it was a bit high.
Was actually right at their offers over was right at the cut-off line for our budget. So yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. What else?
Some of the areas around the plumbing.
Oh,
down
we did
back,
have some concern with some plumbing. There's a bit of moisture around some of the drains.
And there was some rotten timber at the front underneath.
Yeah. Bianca's getting right into the engineering side of these house inspections.
I am.
The other downer for me was the fact that it was a little bit open. It didn't have that secluded feel. So if we set up camping or Airbnb style glamping, people wouldn't feel like they were out isolated in the bush. There just wouldn't be that sort of feel to it.
The traffic was probably a bit higher than the other places that we'd looked at.
Yeah. It was on a mainish road, if you can call it a main road. What did we clock? It was 4 cars in 5 minutes.
4 cars in 5 minutes.
On a weekend. There were some nice spots around the back, the blue zone-ish area where we could have set up camping. Then someone pointed out just over the creek was the what, Bianca? The local refuse collection point.
Oh, yes, that's
transfer
right.
station. Just that and the price, we pretty much all decided, no, within a day or so, no, it wasn't the property for us.
No.
As for Bucca, you liked Bucca.
I didn't mind Bucca. What I didn't...
It was secluded and away from the road, so that was pretty much, well...
Yeah. The house was very, very old school. It reminded me of my grandparents, actually.
Yep, and I will sneak a picture in from the real estate agents online, which, by the way, there's links to these properties down there if they're still on the market. The kitchen left a lot to be desired for myself, who likes to cook and spread out a bit. It served the people who lived there, it served them.
If you had more than 2 people living there, it would not be a good kitchen.
No.
But...
and we will be catering for family and friends a bit.
And the machinery shed...
was very open.
And all the roof corrugated iron was starting to rust as well, so you could see it didn't have much life left in it. And I don't want to replace the roof on that machinery shed. That was really tall.
Yeah, the machinery shed roof was fairly rusted. Yeah.
And the cliff.
Yeah, the cliff was...
it was beautiful. It was just a bit daunting.
Yes.
A bit, oh my God, I'm going to fall off, or a cow's going to fall off. Yeah.
But anyway, we pretty much all decided to give that one a bit of a pass as well, didn't we? Size, for me, it was more the size.
Price was pretty good.
The price was really good. As we've said previously, if we were just going to retire, that one actually would have been something we would have considered. We both really liked the basic setup as a retiree place. Well, we decided to pass on both of those, so where does that leave us, Bianca?
I suppose that leaves us on the next property.
The next property?
But that's in another video.
That's in another video.
And that may make us change the theme or the direction of this channel from searching into homesteading.
Homesteading. It may just well do that. Well, there might be a couple of transition videos in between the announcement and the... Anyway. Moving on from that. I think we will pretty much all leave it there, folks, because Jack is bound to bump the tripod if we keep this up any longer, dude.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for coming along and subscribing to the channel. We really do appreciate the support. There will be a lot of content coming to this once we end up on a farm in the future, looking at all different types of homesteading. We might have a bit of a different take on it than other people. It'd be fantastic if you could hit that subscribe button and come along on the journey if you like that sort of thing. And also too, just hit the like button and leave a comment down below. Say good day to us. It helps promote these videos in the algorithm. Yes. And hopefully eventually I'd like to be able to make what we do on the farm financial enough so Bianca can retire from her current job, which would be a nice stress-free way for her to proceed in the future. But anyway, we will pretty much leave it there. Stop rabbiting on. Do hope you enjoyed the video, and we will catch you next time. Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Take it easy.
See ya.
How's it going, folks? It's Rob here.
And Bianca.
And today we're off again looking at 2 more properties. Dun, 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 dun. Now, just quickly,